This is Young DRU for EatSleep Hoops. Today we are talking about Jordan. First off, let me start off by saying I am not a Jordan fanatic. I don't live, breathe, eat, and sleep Jordan. I'm not a diehard Jordan person that, goes to bat for Jordan super hard. If somebody tries to say anything about him, I will go to bat for him on pure common sense with certain stuff. But I'm not one of those super revered Jordan cats in the first place. Now, the reason why Jordan is I was looking at an article that was showing the top, I think it was Bleacher Report. It was like the top 13 different jerk moments of Jordan. Now, by looking at that, it kind of compelled me because I never really fully watched the full-on Jordan Hall of Fame induction speech. About 23 minutes in length, so if you want to check it out after watching this, definitely check it out. I'm sure someone has it on YouTube. Now, they said that in that speech, and I remember on ESPN and everything else, they were very, very particular about saying that, Jordan was he's such a jerk. He was basically just digging and, throwing it in people's face and just clearly just not the way you're supposed to give a speech. I think that it actually is completely off base. I think that we completely, however it was that they wanted to spin it, they spun it and took it completely out of context. Now, if you do watch, and I do encourage after watching this to watch the Jordan Hall of Fame induction ceremony speech when they announce him and when he gets up there and he speaks. Reason being is because they make it seem like he went up there and just was like either being obnoxious to all these people that he called out, from his high school coach to the guy that got picked instead of him, to management, to other players in the league, and even his family. And in all actuality, that's not what happened. Because he started off, and that's the thing, which is why we have to be careful with what we take from media. Because people, at least sensible people, say and state their intent in what it is that they're saying. And Jordan did that. If you watch, in the very beginning, Jordan clearly says that he is a highly competitive person. And he looked at all of his experiences as logs that added to the flame. So, different instances of things that happened, he looked at it as ways that fueled his competitive spirit, which was something that was cultivated from since he was a kid. He even jokingly points out his sister and how competitive she was, to where she took classes to finish the same time Jordan did from high school, then went to the same college he did because she didn't want to get left behind, and then took extra classes so she could finish when Jordan was in his junior year, so once again she wouldn't get left behind. Which, that's amazing that, to want to maintain that type of level of closeness with another sibling, that you do that. And just the competitive nature that he discussed in regards to his two other brothers, to where it would get so intense that his mom would have to call them inside and them playing around because of the fact that it would get that intense. He basically goes into all of the other circumstances and explains why in these situations it is merely adding to his competitive spirit. Not that he took it personal and it was a personal vendetta. People wanted to make it seem like, he invited his high school coach because it was a personal vendetta, and it was like to show him and the guy that they picked, like, oh, you were wrong and you screwed up and, look at me now kind of thing. And it wasn't. He brought them all there because everyone that he invited, which, as he jokingly mentioned, it was like $1,000 for a ticket and used to be $200. He invited all of them there so they could understand and appreciate and respect the fact that for him it was whatever it was that you did, whether it was you cut me, whether it was you took my spot, whether you were my roommate at UNC and you were revered as the best player in North Carolina, everything was to keep that competitive spirit going, to keep pushing him to be better. Why? Because if you're a certain level of greatness, yes, it's not just, that you're just going to wake up every morning and just be great, especially in something as basketball is, where it's super competitive, and especially back in those days. I mean, it was physically demanding, mentally demanding, and let's be honest, we complain about that with modern players nowadays, their lack of heart, lack of drive. But the difference is because he literally would take things as the fire and the fuel to keep him going, to make him stay in the gym that much longer, to make him want to close out games, to make him that demanding of the other players on his team. And it wasn't a demanding because it was, one, yes, because I want to win, and two, because yes, as we love to, like and repost other rappers talking this way, but Jordan gets vilified for it. When you're at the top, people come after you, and people don't let up, and people want to see you fail. And sometimes you might get lax. So it actually keeps you in check. It helps keep you going. Just when you want to get complacent and think, well, I'm the best, so, I've done a lot. No. He would zero in on these little nuances to keep him going, to remind him why he's working so hard to do what he's doing. Even though those people, like he said, they might not have looked at it that way, and they probably didn't. But he did that to keep himself on top, to keep working hard, so he would have achieved what he's achieved and continue achieving what he's achieving. There's lots of stuff about Jordan that is definitely very jerk-like, but in terms of basketball and his speech that he gave, he even said, "You guys know everything about me." And he actually gave us something, which was his purpose, was to give us something about him that we didn't already know. Because we knew every single one of those circumstances, except for his competitive nature within the household, his sister, being that close to him and doing what she did. We did not know, we did not know that. We didn't know that, no, Jordan wasn't being a jerk completely. Yes, he did some stuff that was jerk-ish on the court and to his teammates. He punched Kerr in the face. There's nothing that I can think of that you needed to get your point across to another NBA professional to where you have to punch him in the face. But he did. And after that, they were cool. It's not like he repeatedly punched him in the face, but he punched him in the face. They were cool because that's what grown men do. You disagree, you come to terms, and then you move on. It's not just entrenched in your mind. And that's why Kerr talked about it kind of laughingly, like, yeah, this is what happened. So basically, watch that video, understand that Jordan was trying to let all of us know and cue us in on the fact of, look, I'm very competitive. I always wanted to win. I always wanted to be the best. And everything that's happened throughout my life helped to keep me on that track. He invited his coach there because he contributed to his greatness. He contributed to him being who he was. And his appreciation for it was paying $1,000 out of his pocket for him to be there so he could explain to him and to everyone else that had a hand in his greatness, look, if I pissed you off, it is what it is at this point, but understand it was all in good faith, it was all in good nature, and it was all about trying to achieve the ultimate goal, which was to be the best and to show people that he felt that he could be that great and to help show them that he was that great. He even said that about Isaiah and George Gervin and the rest of them, that it was purely, he competed so hard to prove that he should be there with them. Not that he was better than them, but that he deserved to be on that court with Isaiah and George Gervin and Magic Johnson and all these other great, and Larry Bird. That's all he fought hard for. Which honestly, if more of us would look at things that way, it would be a completely different society, and it'd be a completely different way of playing in the NBA. Because that's really what it was all about back then. Everybody was just trying to prove themselves. Prove to the next best person that they deserve to be there, and that if they're getting ready to retire and changing of the guard, yes, I'm the next one in line that deserves that spot. So definitely let me know what you think about that video. Let me know if you think I'm off base or if I completely missed it. Let me know if you saw the video and you're like, you know what? That makes sense. I actually did get the same vibe off of it. So share it. Tell other people. Let's talk about it. Show us some love. It's Young Drew. Eat, Sleep, Hoops.